Welcome back to another part of this F1 25 My Team Career Mode. This is part number 47 today for the final race of Season 3. But of course, if you watched the last episode at the Qatar Grand Prix, you would have known that we have actually wrapped up both championships already, having won the Drivers' Championship with Tim Tramnitz in the sprint race, and then doing the full proper Grand Prix to see this over the line for the Constructors' Championship with the help of Behrman with some fantastic overtakes coming from the back of the pack after a crash with Verstappen and pitting under the safety car. Behrman contributed enough, we contributed enough to get that second trophy on the right to double it up in one race weekend. It is job done. The road to glory from literally a brand new team on the grid with nothing, you know, the lowest starting levels. And we have got to the summit, the peak of the journey, winning both championships. And we've done it with an F3 driver icon, which is pretty crazy, who is now up to 77 rated overall. It's been quite cool to see his journey and to celebrate the two championship trophies, seeing as we've got one race left to go. It's a dead championship now in terms of this race will matter nothing for the trophy. There are maybe some, you know, places to be had, some constructors positions to be had, and change for teams down the order. But for us, it's a cause for celebration. And so I've taken the suggestion from one of you guys in the comments below from the last episode, and we have got a shiny gold one-off livery for the final race to celebrate our Constructors' World Championship with a star on the engine cover alongside our logo, and then it is a shiny gold finish where the white usually would be. So essentially it's a gold version of the chrome livery, and you can clearly see we've simplified the engine cover and sidepod area. We've taken off all the sponsors that didn't really have any fitting variants of themselves to work well on the gold, and we've simplified where we can around the entire car and making a lot of the logos in black to really make the gold pop as much as we can. But it already is probably under the floodlights of Abu Dhabi, of course. But even though we've got the championship wrapped up for the team and for the Drivers' Championship, there's still some fun to be had at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And also, in a weird way, it's kind of a, you know, we're going to see where everyone ends up in this final race. And if we look around the R&D area, I'm surprised we've not had any indication of a reset. So I actually think we're not getting a reset. In a frustrating way, but also maybe in an exciting way, because you saw how close things were on that R&D chart, and we'll see how close things look on the progression with all the bars, and things are so super close. I mean, can you imagine if you started a season like this? You would be, you know, rubbing your hands together thinking this is going to be some insane competitive season. And it has been insanely competitive, you know, ever since all of these AI teams got those upgrades, you know, since the halfway point in the season. It's been very up and down. You can't really tell who's going to win, who's going to get the podium position. So, in a weird sense, I'm also maybe not too, you know, frustrated that there's not going to maybe be an R&D reset into Season 4, because it just means we're locking in this craziness from the get-go, from the start of that next season. But going into this one, well, obviously Tramnitz now being the world champion, we've made a small tweak to his helmet. We've added one gold star next to his name on either side of his lid, and a gold star in the middle of that Hamburg logo on the top of the helmet. But we are going to indeed stick to the pattern and swap over and drive as Ollie Behrman and let Tramnitz as an AI enjoy his first race as a reigning world champion.
Welcome to qualifying. It is time to have some laps at the limit in Abu Dhabi.
I can't remember the last time we went into a final race of the season here in Abu Dhabi, or wherever the venue was in previous F1 games, when we had the ability to mod the calendar a bit more. I can't remember the last time we had a situation where we've not got anything to fight for, where we've already wrapped it up so early. I think maybe I want to say one of the F1 2021 seasons. I don't think we ever had this situation on F1 22, 23, and definitely not F1 24. So it's been some time, and that's a testament to how strong this partnership has been of Tramnitz and Bearman, and a testament to how strong this car was at the start of the season. As many of you said, it was a real Brawn GP-esque season for us, which is quite fitting, of course, with the team's origins and inspiration of we've carried it over the line. But to be fair as well, Qatar, the performance was quite amazing. The car came alive, and maybe we can do a similar thing here around Abu Dhabi. So, you know, it has actually been the case, you know, in season 2, remember, we ended the season so strong. We actually got a front row lockout at the finale of season 2 before we even entered this championship contention season. So clearly the My Team car for us just works really well at the end of the season. So we always had that maybe in our back pocket, and maybe we shouldn't have worried as much as maybe I did in the mid part of the season. But it's easy to get panicked when you see all these teams upgrading. But look at the time we've got here in Q1, 3/10 the gap from Tramnitz to Verstappen. P1 in Q1, first time rolling out in the gold aarava Archer racing car with the star on his helmet. Tramnitz is going from strength to strength. I'm sure 99 focus, the maximum potential he's going to get. I agree with some of you guys that I think he should get a pretty big booster on the rating because of the championship win. It'd be really cool to see if we loaded into season 4, he's just like 5 overall more into the mid 80s. But I don't think there's any mechanic like that. I think there definitely should be in the future, because he definitely is performing more than a 77 rating would give you the impression of. But into Q2, others now speeding up a little bit. It's a topsy-turvy qualifying session and a very mixed up top 10. This is what I'm on about. If we're going to stay with this same performance into season 4, if we came to Melbourne first race of the season and it was like this in the top 10, 2 Astons, both of us, Williams, Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, this would be pretty awesome as a first, taster of that new season. And this is exactly what we're kind of getting here. So if there is no reset, hopefully it just means that there might be a couple of interesting driver transfers, and it could be a very ferocious start to the new season. But that's then, this is now. There's still maybe some, results to be changed subtly in the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship, just for the sake of people's egos and, pride for the end of the season. For us, we're just trying to have fun, really, and trying to maximize the result, the performance, really. It's been a solid day over 1 lap for Tramnitz so far. We've fared okay. We managed to match him in Q2. Here in Q3, a little bit of an up and down last lap there. Purple in the first, green in the middle. It's enough to get us up into the second row alongside Albon. But Tramnitz will go better than us, but he won't be on pole for the last race of the season. It will be the outgoing world champion. The season 2 world champion is on pole. Charles Leclerc alongside him, the new reigning champion, Tim Tramnitz. Like in Qatar, it basically ended like that in the race. Kind of poetic that we're going into the last race like that with, the 2, most recent champions on the front row. And hopefully, based off this, we're going to be pretty all right in the race, and we can have some fun to end off this season. Let's go to the grid.
It's time then for one final race in this year's Formula One World Championship. 2010 saw 4 drivers in contention for the title coming into this race, with Sebastian Vettel prevailing to become the youngest world champion to date. Is the one last sting in the tail awaiting us today? It's time to find out in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Tim Tramnitz completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Bearman, Oscar Piastri and Verstappen, Colapinto, Tsunoda, Lawson and Lance Stroll, Aaron, Ocon, Andrea Kimi, Antonelli and Maloney, Pepe Marti, Gasly, Jack Doohan, Gabriel Bortoletto, Hulkenberg, Hadjar, Sainz and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Welcome to the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to say that we're joined today by Anthony Davidson. Well, it's the last race of the season, but there's still plenty to prove out there. How important is getting the right mentality for this season closer?
Yeah, a lot of races to cover, but it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix, end on a high and carry that energy into next season.
Radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
Okay, mate, final day of the season. Everybody in this entire team has worked incredibly hard to give us the chance to get a good result today. I need you to do your bit and go out there and bring it home for us.
One final inspirational radio from Mark to Ollie Behrman here in the cockpit as we get ready to go for a final race with this duo in this team, in this configuration. That's all I'll say as we prepare ourselves for an overcast Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The clouds are out, which is, well, I mean, for a second there I thought, well, are we going to get some cheeky rain here in the Abu Dhabi desert? That's happened to us before on F1 22, I want to say, I think it was. We actually had rain, an intermediate race in Abu Dhabi. Actually, you know what? I think that season also we wrapped up the championship. So I tell a lie, actually. I think it's happened twice before on F1 2021 and F1 22. But this is not the case here. I don't think it's going to rain. Just overcast as we go on into the night here at Jans Marina. Tramnitz, the new reigning champion, right ahead of us. We're P4. Let's try and aim. I mean, a double podium I would take. That would be a lovely send-off for these two together as teammates as we go to 5 red lights, and we are underway for the final race of season 4. But it's all relaxed, there's nothing to play for us, and we're just going out there and trying to do the best job we can, and we have done into turn 1, overtaking Albon. We're up to 3rd place. Tramnitz stays in 2nd, Leclerc stays in 1st place, but those two already looking quite close as Tramnitz is right on the back of the McLaren. So will there be a move there? There is some moves going on further behind us into the hairpin. I think that was Verstappen side by side with Tsunoda, his current Red Bull teammate. Now, obviously, Tsunoda in the Williams these days here in this alternate F1 universe as Tramnitz goes down the inside. Bit of contact with Leclerc. It was a little bit of carbon fibre flicking off, but I don't think there's any damage, thankfully, and Tramnitz can keep his foot in. But the two of them going toe-to-toe for the race lead, just as we were trying to chase him down last time out in Qatar. So it's basically continued. That battle's continued on into this race weekend as Verstappen goes on the outside of Colapinto to get P5 as the Red Bull showing a little bit more race pace than maybe was there in quali. Colapinto down to P6, but it's a solid 2 cars in the top 10 right now, early days for Aston Martin Honda. By the way, you may have noticed on the grid sequence, the Mercedes cars back of the grid with penalties. They were actually knocked out earlier, so Mercedes having a very mediocre ending to the season after being so strong in the mid part, you know, with those 2 wins in a row for Lando Norris. Seems like a lifetime ago now as Tramnitz makes easy work of Leclerc in a straight line to overtake him for the lead. Little lock up into the next corner, and Leclerc might be able to keep up with him as Verstappen keeps his elbows out and gets past Albon in the chicane. He's up to P4. Next up would be us as it's nearly 3 wide as, oh wow, okay, in the same breath, Albon and Colapinto have tried to overtake Verstappen again. Albon has, Colapinto not so much, but just showing how turbulent this fight is behind the top 2, top 3, I guess, because so far we're okay, but now we might get dragged into this because I'm losing touch with
There appears to be an issue. We're currently investigating.
And now we are definitely going to lose touch with the top 2. If there is an issue that's being investigated with the car, I'm checking the heads-up display. There's nothing, there's no damage. We've not got any worn parts, so I'm very curious to see what's going wrong with the car. We are getting swarmed by Albon and Verstappen. Is that something to do with the issue we're experiencing maybe, or we're being investigated?
We're looking at some imminent gearbox issues, I'm afraid. Watch out for jams and misgears.
Oh dear. Oh no. Gearbox issues. That's a first. We've not had that once so far on F1 25. Mark worrying about jammed gears, missing gears. Nothing's happening right yet. I'm looking in the bottom right. I don't think we've missed a single gear yet. If one jams, that's going to be a problem because that could last whoever knows, basically, and that would be our race over. So I'm hoping we don't get a jammed gear, but we're not missing any either. But I'm not going to lie, in that instant when the radio came in, the car just felt so much worse, like it was on edge, just like this. The rear end steps out, so I don't know if there's an underlying drivability issue occurring with the gearbox on top of the chance of a jam or a missed gear. The car certainly does not feel as stable as it did just before that series of radio messages. So there is actually something tangibly wrong with the car right now, but we're trying to make the most of it as we go from the right to left. Fake out Franco Colapinto to get back up into P5, but Verstappen's got us and Albon has as well, and well, those two are actually going on to go and attack Leclerc as the McLaren once again showing that it may have the one lap pace, but it just doesn't have any race pace, and that actually probably is more Leclerc being a great qualifier, of course, as well documented in real life as well, but in race pace terms, when you can't really do that much to override how good or bad the car is, the McLaren has just not been there for Leclerc all of this season and has not delivered him a car that could have defended his championship at all, really, as we see ourselves swapping with Colapinto again. Leclerc is now in. He was on the soft compound, so he was always going to come in earlier, and maybe that's also a big part of why he fell away so much compared to Verstappen and Albon, but we've seen how bad the McLaren's been in other situations. But Leclerc with an early pit stop. Verstappen has now managed to wrangle in Tramnitz, so Tramnitz maybe was liking the breathing room he had before, but now Verstappen piling on the pressure round the outside. It's another fight between the Dutchman and the German. We've seen quite a few fights between these two guys as AI drivers, and with ourselves, of course. We had quite a battle with Verstappen before his engine failure in the Qatar Grand Prix. We've got more pit stops coming in. Sonoda coming in earlier than others, and we're going to come in earlier because the planned pit stop was lap 13 to 15 in that region, but I'm going to come in now because I think we can undercut Albon and Tramnitz. That's how much I think we can gain here. 3 seconds. I think we can jump both of them ahead. Verstappen's checked down a little bit. He's a further 3 seconds down the road, so it's going to be a bit tough to see how anyone is going to catch Verstappen, at least at this stage. Let's see how the race pace goes on the next tyre, the hard tyre for the Red Bull, but I think we could jump Tramnitz and Albon with an earlier pit stop here. They're going to be busy fighting each other, so we're in now for that pit stop.
We had an issue attaching the right rear wheel. I know it's not ideal, but let's try and put that behind us now and get back into this race.
Well, for one last time maybe in this season with Ollie Behrman, we have an issue with the team, with the car. It's a pit stop issue. That sets us back 2 seconds, and that could be the difference of jumping both of them. Maybe we can still get Albon. Maybe we don't get Tramnitz now as we close up to Leclerc, who has come out. We've come out behind him. But of course, he was ahead of us just by a fraction on the road, but he's looking a bit slow. The McLaren not showing the same race pace he was at the start of the race, and we fly by him with ease. And now setting a fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we get on to lap 15. There is Tramnitz on the left-hand side, and on your screens now, coming out of the pit just ahead of us, but we do jump Albon. So that's still been a pretty good pit stop, earlier pit stop. So we're now in, well, we're back in P4 because actually Sonoda has been the biggest winner. He's undercut all of us and he's into second place legitimately. The Williams really made a good call there. Verstappen, though, controlling this race 5 seconds nearly ahead, as I think that's a slow BMW. Looks a bit slow, or is that just the pace of the BM? No, it's not. The BMW car is going to retire. Maloney pulling off to the left-hand side, and is that going to cause anything? Yellow sectors right now, but it is going to be a full course safety car, and Albon actually timed that amazingly. He's come in under safety car to make a cheeky pit stop because he reckons he can maybe gain some pace there. And you know what? I might think about it as well because we're going to bunch up with people, but there's quite big time gaps as it stands, and none of us have caught the safety car yet. So we could still make this call to come in and still gain, you know, positions effectively because we're so spread out and everyone's driving to this delta time. So I'm making a ballsy call. We're coming in. Others aren't. Tramnet stays out. Tsunoda's coming in though, so Tsunoda actually joins me on this gamble. Verstappen stays out. Both Astons are in as well, actually. So, actually, to be fair, Tramnitz and Verstappen might be the odd ones out, not making the most of this free pit stop under safety car, because I had a new set of mediums as well. You would have seen on the heads-up display, so that's why I thought it was worth doing, because we might just come out still in a pretty alright track position under the tunnel. P7 is it going to be? I think it's P7. Yeah, P7 as we now come in 2 laps later, lap 19. The safety car was out for a while then, so we've got 10 laps to go. We're on new medium tyres, whereas Norris, Piastri, Ocon, Tramnitz, Verstappen all on hards. They've been on for at least 2 laps, maybe 3 for other people. Tsunoda is on a new set of tyres. I don't know if he's on mediums or hards. Either way though, I fancy my chances of getting us onto the podium. Beforehand, I just didn't know, basing off the lack of pace we had in that second phase of stint 1. But now, with this new medium tyre diving down the inside of Norris, I'm more confident of getting back onto the podium and making a double podium. Whether we can get the win, I think it's down to Tramnitz, because he's going to be the nearest man to Verstappen. Right now, it looks like he's under pressure from the Ferrari on the minimap as we pressurize Oscar Piastri on the outside. Tsunoda, by the way, on a new set of hard tyres, so a peculiar choice from Williams, but they probably just didn't have a new set of mediums. I made it a position to have 2 mediums for this race in case of a 2-stop because of the tyre wear levels we've had this season. But the safety cars actually just played into our hands here with allowing us to definitely use that second medium to good use. Meanwhile, for our teammates on the same lap, we overtake Piastri. Tramnitz tries to go for the overtake on the other Red Bull of Max Verstappen on the outside. Verstappen was controlling this race before the safety car, but now it's opened up the door and the new reigning champion goes down the inside in that shiny new gold livery for just this race alone. Verstappen gets the elbows out, trying to show him though, you might have 1 championship, I have 5 of them. As that side-by-side has just bunched us all up now, the top 4 all close together, we're just about joining the train as Ocon spotted ahead of us. The Ferrari nearly takes us out. The Ferrari cuts across the track, having lost the rear end. It's pandemonium onto the new lap because all these guys had to take avoiding action. So there's so many side-by-sides as Ocon spins it. Incredible. I've never seen an AI mistake quite like that out the final corner, spinning in such spectacular fashion. And the possibility of T-boning us if we didn't think so quick. And meanwhile, in the aftermath of that, Tramnitz very calmly takes first place of the Grand Prix. But here's a replay then, out the final corner, just drops the back end, and then that was quick thinking from us, because if we didn't move as far right as we did, we would have been having a head-on or a T-bone collision with the Ferrari. It's just a case of just span up the rear tyres, as the AI do sometimes with the mistakes. And the onboard from Lando Norris was even better. Look at this, having to be very measured there, cutting through the middle. So the last race of the season, going out with a bang, going out with a lot of action. An big AI mistake, and now it's action between these 2 AI world champions, Verstappen versus Tramnitz. But those 2, they've been fighting so hard that we have now joined the party. It's 3 wide. We're either side of the Red Bull, and now going into Sector 3, we are side by side with our own teammate, the 2 gold championship winning cars, neck and neck, and Tramnitz, the reigning champion, dives down the inside for old time's sake. It's a great classic battle that we enjoyed so much at the start of the season between Behrman and Tramnitz. It's fitting that it's occurred here again at the end of the season, but At this point, we're just going to bring it home. I think we've got the mediums to hold off the Red Bull. The Red Bull, if it was allowed to, I think would re-overtake Tramnit. So for one last time, we're going to be a good teammate, play the team game here, driving as Bearman, and we're going to see off this 1-2 and allow our World Championship teammates to win the final race. And we are just going to do our job of stopping this not being a 1-2 for this team, because what a way to end it. What a way to end it. And this is going to cap off a real poetic ending to the season for us in terms of everything going our way, things going right, and we didn't lose sight and track of both championships. And for this race, we've, again, story of the season as well, made the most of situations, never gave up. The safety car played into our hands there, and we made it work to maintain this second place with Bearman and defend and allow Tramnit to just cruise on through this final sector. The two gold aarava Archer racing cars round the final bends as the world champions here in Season 3. GG's, lads. GG's.
What an excellent performance this has been from Tim Tramnit, who takes the checkered flag to win.
Well, a great victory today for the final race of the season, and you take that energy with you through the end of the year, through the winter break, and it's important because your team lives off of that. You want them to deliver you the best possible car for the start of next season's campaign.
Anthony Davidson speaking about next season's campaign, and maybe the minds are turning to next season, because it will be Tim Tramnit as the reigning world champion going into Season 4. But the question is, what is going to be happening with the driver lineup? What is going to be happening with this team? What is going to be happening with every team into Season 4? There are plenty of surprises and new additions to come. But till then, guys, if you have enjoyed this one, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.